Great. Welcome back. Welcome back to a live session. We're here for the afternoon New York session. Again, looking at the NASDAQ 100. We will pop over and check out ES if anything's happening there, or if members of the live stream is really interested in what's happening. But for the most part, I'm going to focus on NASDAQ 100. But again, yeah, welcome back for everyone who's on the morning session, and also everyone who is now joining for the afternoon session and has been here before. Again, welcome back. Newcomers. We will be looking at, I learned trading mostly from ICT, so a lot of my concepts will come from him. I have mostly been doing a scalping of like 5-point small scalps the past month or two. I may look into some other setups, but I think I will definitely be looking into scalps this session as well. So welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I mean, we're a good group here where everyone's just looking to learn from one another and just find a community of traders that we can bond with and talk to on a daily basis. So that's the group that we have here. So welcome. And if you have any questions or any comments, throw it in the chat. We are a pretty good group here, so you'll find us inviting. All right, finish my morning coffee. I think I'm ready to go. Welcome, Dylan. Welcome. Oh, you're in ES. Okay. All right. I'll mostly be calling out NASDAQ, Dylan. But if there's anything that you see in ES and you're like, hey, there's a breaker forming and or there's a key low just was taken on ES and it's not taken on NASDAQ yet, don't feel bad about calling those out. We'll jump right into it if there's something to take a look at. Okay, so this blue area here is a breaker that I drew up this morning. I believe I drew it from the 1 minute. Yep, so it was a 1 minute breaker. I drew up and I took what did I do? So the trade I took earlier, there was a fair value gap here. And I took the trade off the 50% of the breaker sometime this morning around this point. Price started to move in my direction. I then shifted my stop loss up to break even. And my take profit was at the bottom of this fair value gap. So it was just below. It was about a 17 or 18 point trade that I was looking for. It got near to where I thought it was going to go. And then it peeled back on me, hit break even, stopped me out, and then went on to profit. So I didn't catch that train. I missed it, mainly because I wasn't as confident in leaving my stop where it was, because originally my stop was down here. But that was the trade I took. It looked like it was going to work out for me, and then I got stopped at break even, and then it just went on to where I thought it was going to go. But that's where we were this morning, and now here we are more than an hour later, and we're in the same position almost. Go ahead and pull that across. Yep. So we'll continue monitoring price. I had earlier marked up my target for the day was the weekly high up at 17,073. And prior to doing so, I thought price may want to retrace. So let's go down to the 15-minute chart. All right. So I took a Fibonacci of the movement from this morning's news session at 8:30 that ran from 8:30, and then after the opening bell would reach the high and started to then retrace. And so what I did is I measured that level, and I thought maybe we would go below 50% and then look to recover and put in higher prices. So we see at 11 o'clock, there was this 15-minute candle that not only pierced 50%, but also got below 61.8. Right between this candle low and this candle's high was a bullish fair value gap. So it traded into that and rejected before the candle closed. Then we start seeing a slow trickle back into that zone. And so now that it's buying out of it, we could see it attack the high of the day as it's en route to attacking the weekly high. Um, that's my that's what I think price's objective of today is. We still have to wait and see. I mean, this fair value gap right here, which is the same one from the 1 minute that I just showed you. It's been, you see prices rejected from it once here, pushed back down, and now we're just now moving back into it for a second time. We'll see if price can get above and close. We can get a closure above. Then I think we're moving in the right direction. Again, this is a 1 minute fair value gap, and right now we're looking at the 15-minute time chart. But we do have, if we look up here, you know, these relative equal highs just before the daily high. And that's around 17,035. So it's about 40 points before we get to the weekly high. But in a nutshell, that's sort of my, what I think price's objective for the afternoon is. That's what I'm going to be looking forward to do. But I will remain flexible just in case price action shows me something different. So, so we'll continue to monitor price and see where we think it's going, and look for an entry. Okay, ES is breaking out. All right. Sergio, welcome in. Let's take a peek at ES. Okay, yeah. So ES is similar to NASDAQ. We have on the 15-minute chart, we have a high right here that's just been, so now we have equal highs. Let's see if price pushes through this 48.15 level. There's still another 16, I'm sorry, not 16, another 6 minutes on on this candle. So let's just watch and see where it closes at. The closure is really important. We want to see it break this level and close above. Right, and on ES, whereas on NASDAQ, remember we penetrated the 62% and we was down in this area. ES only broke the 50% and then started the recovery. Traded back down, candle body, closed just above 50%, and we haven't had any movement below since. We did have a wick just afterwards, but again, the candle body closed above. Well, I'm sorry, this isn't the close. This is the start of the candle. It pushed down and closed up here. And we've had bullish momentum since. So right now, it looks like we're continuing the lunchtime trend. So let's look and just see if that can continue throughout the hour. And with that, I'll take a break from talking and let's see how price starts to deliver. And if you have any questions or anything, throw it in. Otherwise, we'll just take a peek and see how price delivers. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce back over to NASDAQ and just kind of leave it there. Okay. So I do see at lunchtime on the 15-minute chart, which basically happens on every time frame, but during the lunch hour, the 12:15 candle, did break the low that was created at 11 o'clock. So now that we see that there was liquidity swept at lunch, we have more confidence that price is going higher. And we can see that here by breaking through this previous fair value gap that's been marked up. That was a barrier to price. It went to the 50% level, right? It went to the 50% level around 11:30, rejected out of it, back down. And that's when during lunchtime, it took out the previous low that was created. It took this one out over here and immediately started buying up. And now it has taken out that high as well. Let's see if we can get a trade above this fair value gap and a closure. You're in bias US 30. Okay. Oh, on the breaker block. Got it. Drop that. All right. So on this time frame, there's a new breaker put in here during the lunch hour. Right. We see it traded below. We see it then traded above, returned to 50%, and hasn't looked back since. What's sweet about this breaker is it was coupled with a fair value gap. Where we saw it trade below with a wick. But if you look at where the candle bodies are, you see the candle bodies still inside the green area, inside the fair value gap. The wick came down, touched 50% of the breaker. And even if you took an entry at the very beginning of the breaker in the middle of the fair value gap at 986, you would have reached profit of over 20 points already. And if you were still in, you'd be looking at about 35 points right now. So Malik, if that's the trade you took on US 30, it's a monster trade. Even if you took one in between here somewhere, again, good trade level. Yeah, I wasn't watching the charts during lunch, so I completely didn't catch that one. Also, I'm still familiarizing myself with breakers and identifying them in real time, but I'm getting better. But without the traders in this room pointing those things out to me, I probably would still be looking at trading just the way I look at it without these additional elements. Okay, so we did on the 1 minute, we got a trade above this fair value gap and it closed above. It looks like now we may be getting a retest either to the upper limit or down into the 50% range. Either way, we're still looking bullish. Sorry, my dog's a huge fan of sourdough bread, so whenever he sees that I have some, he comes looking. Yeah, you're right. Well, I didn't take a look at ES, but if you were playing the 50% of the breaker block here on the 1 minute, NASDAQ, I mean, it essentially gave you an entry with zero drawdown. Not often. Not often you find a trade with zero drawdown. it dropped down to the 30-second, but let me go back up to the minute. So we can see how, we just want to see how far price digs into this fair value gap that it just completed and gotten out of. What we want to see is we want to see speed and power out of it. We don't want to see it play around in here too long, because we already had a test up to the 50%. Now we've had a trade all the way through, but we've had a decent amount of trading in this area. We don't want to see it lose this level. Okay, let's see if we can get a push out. It looked strong in the beginning, but then it's kind of tailed off a bit. Wait for the last 10 seconds of the candle and see what happens. But we would like to see a strong candle push out of this zone, especially since it began right around the 50% of the fair value gap. No more, that's it. Yeah, so far, it's not showing a willingness to push out of this zone and remain above. But we want to, while it's still around the 50% mark of the fair value gap, we want to continue monitoring it. It could push through any moment now, so we're just going to continue waiting. Definitely need a little vitamin C to push the market. Unfortunately, my dog likes tangerines too, so I have to share with him. Let's hope it's not waiting for Santa. Santa's not coming until overnight Sunday. Hmm. Okay, so we have another close above. This could be what we were looking for. Let's just see how the next couple candles develop. Hopefully we can push and extend those highs from about 10 minutes ago. Okay, last one, trouble. All right. Let's bounce over to ES quickly and see if we got the same thing going on over there. We do closely. We have a lot of equal highs. We also have equal highs here. And we're just waiting for it to break through. All right, about 5 minutes before 1:30. Sometimes what we have is a change of direction at half past the hour. So potentially we may be waiting another 4 or 5 minutes before something happens. That's one. All right, so price is still in a holding pattern, it looks like. We just oops, take a look at a higher time frame. Let's go back to the 15. I know I have it in the lower left-hand corner, but let's just put it on the main screen. So we have a better look at it. Okay, if we lose our current level, this is potentially turnaround areas for price. All right, let's take a look at this price leg too, just in case it wants to retrace. So we see this fair value gap here is married up with the 50% at the lower extreme. That could be a sort of a target for a retracement before moving higher. So for now, yeah, we're just waiting. And so far, price hadn't shown a willingness to do anything, so we're not going to do anything. A minute. Yep, so we see now it traded back down into that fair value gap on the 1 minute again. So we'll just keep it on this time frame until we're clearly out of this area and it's no longer relevant. Okay. That's a start in the right direction. Quiet, quiet. Okay. There's no more. Okay, no more. All right, another retest. Let's see if we can still close outside of this box. Almost. I mean, I really can get rid of the fair value gap. Price is traded out of and closed. But we do still have a consolidation zone that until price moves out of that area, we really don't have an entry. No more truffle. I don't have any more. That was the last one. It's gone. Okay, finally we have a break. P&L currently today. I had a one break even trade earlier, so there's hasn't been any profit today on trading. Once again, we broke out, closed above that the area with a new high, traded right back inside. It's good to see a rejection out of the area, but we still seem to be attached to this little consolidation zone here. Yep, a lot of static price here. I thought 130 would bring us some relief and price would start to show us something different, but so far that hasn't been the case. We'll just continue waiting. Um, it's nothing we can do at the moment, but just be patient and continue to believe in the direction of price. We're still bullish. It's just a slow grind. That's all. Okay, let's see if this is the last test of this area. All right, no risk entry there. See if we can't get a run back up to those highs. All right. Didn't work out for me, but no harm done. Good afternoon, mathematical genius. Welcome back. Good to see you in the chat again. All right. Yeah, that was just something I was trying to do since we're just doing one of these back and forth moments. So I just, all right, we're gonna just keep doing this. Just thought it would, just thought it'd be worth taking a trade up to that zone. Try to get it done. It didn't work out, but we did break even. So no harm, no foul. And we'll continue looking at price now that we see lows have been swept. It's now pushing for additional lows. So we'll just see how far back it wants to retrace. Let me drop this to make it a little cleaner. Hmm. Let's see if we can't get price to hold up here somewhere. Going through that. You're short at 19, added more at 14, okay? Sweet, all right. You say on a 30-second chart, 104. Oh, right here, the fair value gap. I was looking to see if this was going to hold price, if it would have came down, hit the 50%, and then pushed up more. It did not. All right, brother free. Looks like first target hit. 003. All right, so you most likely took this swing low as a target. Then you can take this one as the next one. And ultimately, these equal lows. Sweet trade, not bad. Good eye. Way to see that price was getting ready to flush. I mean, it was definitely struggling to make new highs. I mean, it would make a new high, but just as it made a new high, it would trade right back into the zone, but then reject out. So it was just a lot of stalled price action there. But good trade, brother Free. Okay, looks like price has reclaimed this level. Let's see where it closes. See if we now get a retrace down, a retest of this level, and then a push up. And on top of that, let's also measure this price leg. Okay, so we had a dip below the 70%, and now we see price pushing. Yep. Definitely shifted quickly. Okay, let's see if price wants to reclaim those levels that it had for 20 minutes or so before crashing down. If it doesn't want to reclaim those levels, then we'll see this low swept. We'll then see that line down at 16,997 tested as well, and then we're going to be back down into the breaker block again. Right, 5 minutes still looking bullish, still looking good. Right, on the 5 minute we saw his price was building since lunch. The last high we swept was this one. So it's natural after sweeping a high to have some sort of retracement. We saw rejection off of this fair value gap on the 1 minute. And now we see price moving north towards those previous highs. Okay. And on top of that, we saw this huge wick here on the last 5 minute candle that was rejected. So having the following candle trade down to 50% of that is ideal. All right, now back to the 1 minute. Okay, 1:45 is the time. Yeah, I like the way the candle bodies close right here. Close right above. The next one started and just completely bought without even retesting the area. So there wasn't a wick there. Okay, let's see what price does now. Okay, we're going to first target these relative equal highs here. I'm gonna push through and close above this one. Oh, I'm in. What's going on? I don't think I've seen you here all week. Sure, you can tell the channel's grown quite a bit since last time you were on. Okay. So far, we've seen a rejection out of the fair value gap. We saw it trade above 2 to 3 different candles. Each time before the candle closed, it rejected back into the zone. And now we're trading below. Haha, 38. Okay. So you were in my first week. When I first started, the first day I streamed, I believe I had 28 subscribers. So you must have caught me the third or fourth day I was on, because it took me 3 or 4 days to get another 10. No, I'm still in my challenge, still in it. Haven't passed it yet. We're still alive. You know, not every day is a green day for me. But things are still going well though. It's funny you first found me. I had 38 subscribers. I think I've gotten more than 38 subscribers this week already. Okay, we're returning back down. Looks like we're gonna retest this fair value gap. And we also have this one, although I'm not sure it's gonna hold. See if we continue to get closers, candle body closures above this level, then we'll keep it. I was, I was somewhere in that range. Yeah, I was at, yeah, I'm actually slightly less than that right now, to be honest with you. I'm still up, but I'm only up around, right around 2%. Had a couple bad days, and then FOMC rolled around, and there were a few days where I just didn't take any trades. And it's been slow. It's been a slow grind. I'll say that. But like I said, I'm still in it, still positive, and still trading. Yeah, and also the past couple of days I've been taking trades off the breaker instead of using the scalping model, so I'm bouncing back and forth between the two. It's just sometimes the breaker's a little easier to take a trade from, especially when you find price trending and looking to change directions. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm not down, not down. So yeah, I'm still in the game, still upbeat, looking for my next trade. Okay, 5 minutes before the hour. Maybe we can drop this one. Brother Free, did you take a second entry? Did you get back in? Yeah, you're right. I could start risking 1% and just seeing if I can just get it over with in a couple of days. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I've tried that before and wasn't exactly fruitful for me. Um, but you're right. I may in a new year, I may just give that a shot once because I'm trying to be conservative during this slowdown period when there's not a lot of institutional traders between now and probably the first week in January. So probably when the new year comes around and the volume returns to the market, I'll probably start increasing the risk and also taking more trades per day. Hmm. Okay, so the 1 o'clock hour didn't really give us much. But the good news is in 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes, we'll get a new hour. 2 o'clock hour hopefully will give us something different. Let's bounce over to, let's take a peek at ES, see what's going on over there. Okay, seems like a lot of the same type of price action. Let's see for anyone trading the Dow. Let's take a peek at that. Okay, the 1 minute looks roughly the same. Hmm. Let's move up to the hour. Let's grab the dollar. All right, so for today, we saw the dollar pushing, 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 making a new low, actually creating equal lows. And now we just bought above not only the new day opening gap, but a swing high. And then we got a rejection out of it, closing below. Now for this hour, it looks like the candle's not going to produce very much. So it may be the next hour that we see the dollar dropping, which in turn could send commodities up higher. Or if the dollar does one of these numbers where it, let's take the magnet off, where it trades down to like 50% of this wick, we could see that and then a bounce out of it. So it could go either way. But right now, I would say it's not looking super strong bullish, especially since it came back up to the new day opening gap and rejected for the second time. The last time it rejected, it made a new low. Okay, hourly chart, ES. Yeah. See, it's still bullish. We don't have a reason to move in a different direction. It's just not running for the high. That's all. But we're still in a bullish formation. And there's NASDAQ. Yep. Okay, so at least they're in sync. So we know the commodities are now in sync. Um, we're just waiting for the dollar to move out of the way. Okay, yeah, no worries. You always need a break from it, especially if you're starting to lose your passion. Then yeah, definitely take a few days off. This next week is probably I don't know, probably a good week to take off since there's not going to be a lot of volume next week. So yeah, we'll catch you in the new year. So I hope you have a good weekend and a good week next week, and we'll catch you the week after. Oh, okay. All right. So we just got a new candle starting. It's 2 o'clock now. We can see where the last candle finished. So it did push up. We got a new high, but it didn't, well, not a new high, but it took out the high from the past couple of hours, took out the high from lunch. But it did close lower. And the next candle open, and we're pushing lower. So let me drop down to a lower time frame so we can have a better idea of where price is going. Another gap here that may be traded to. Okay, so I put this here just to denote where the order block is. Typically, when you see price taking a swing high or low for that matter, but any key level, you will see a retracement back down to the order block. But oftentimes you'll see a retracement back past the order block into a fair value gap. So I'm targeting this area as where price wants to trade to before continuing. We'll just see if that's actually where it goes. Let me put one contract here. We'll see where this candle closes, but right now it's definitely not finding support in that area. All right, Chris. Not looking favorable at the moment. Not at all. Uh-oh. All right, there it goes. Who was that? Brother Free. Brother Free, you're still getting it. You're still in. Holy cow. All right, all the way back down to the new day opening gap. All right, so those levels I called out just before lunch, where I said price could return, well, not return, but price could retrace that far down from the 830 level when the news happened. We're now down at the 80% retracement, also the new week opening gap. This dark line that I have at 947, that's on the 15-minute, that's 50% of the down wick. You'll see that down in the left-hand corner. Let me go and throw that up here. Okay, we have this down wick here. 50% of that is this line. We also have 80% retracement denoted here. And this yellow area is the new day opening gap. So we're all the way back down to 1800 yesterday. And it looks like it touched the 50% level and had a big reaction from there. So it's already up 30 points from this level. Yeah, Joe, well, my trade lost, so I didn't have a nice trade, but I can tell you what I see. But my trade didn't work out for me. Oh, good job, Dustin. Okay, all right, Chris. Yeah, hopefully next week is the one. But yeah, that was a sizable drop. That was not good. But let me remove some of this these graphics off the chart now. Now that those levels no longer matter, we have this one massive candle for the last 15 minutes. Really, it's for the last 5 minutes. So let's now go inside and see, where are we? Let's go down to the 1 minute. See where that silver bullet was. Now it's a 2 o'clock hour. 201. There we go. Anyone looking for shorts? You're an ICT trader and you like his silver bullet setup. Oops. It was essentially here. 1 minute after the hour, price traded into it and then fell off. I was looking for longs, so I didn't wasn't paying attention to that. But anyone who was believing in shorts, that was the entry. The yellow bar, new day opening gap. Okay, let me go into the 5 minutes or 15 minutes. I'll show you exactly where it comes from. So this is yesterday at 1800. Right, so the candle before closed here at 949. and then it went on break for an hour. And then when it reopened, it opened above at 956. So the gap between here and here is this yellow bar. You can see that 2 candles later, price did trade up through it and fill it in. But we keep it for the following day, and you'll see the price, see it traded through it again. And now here we are trading down to it and off of it. And right here in the corner, NDOG is new day opening gap. And it has a date, 12/21. Okay, so full 80% retracement from this morning's 8:30 news opening. We go to the entire move up, the entire leg. Okay, so we just passed 50% actually. The 2 weeks before during lunch and just after didn't penetrate the 50% mark. But now we nope, we haven't gotten to 61 yet. But we did trade into discount, and now we see price rejecting. So we'll just keep looking to see when price decides it wants to get out of this area, or whether it wants to continue putting in lower prices. Since it just had this quick impulse move, we'll probably see some type of retracement back into this area, but we could see it also break down further. Oh, did you? Okay, I see. All right, now that we know we've moved into discount on the full price leg, we also know we've retraced at least 80% from the morning range. Let's see. Also, another thing to note, we took out the low from lunch. That was something else that we did. So if you look at the different sessions between London, New York AM, lunch, and now we're in a New York PM, we had taken out the lunch high on the move up, and now we just swept the lunch low. So a lot of things happened in that move down just now. Moved price down to discount, and we swept the lows from lunch, and we traded back into the new day opening gap 50%. All right, let's clean up our charts a bit. We'll stay here on the 5-minute. Till we see anything giving us an indication for a bullish move, we're going to cautiously look at potentially being bearish. Mm. Yeah, you're right about that. There was. I figured two o'clock would bring us something different because the 1 o'clock hour just gave us all of this action straight across, right? And then at 2 o'clock, we were right back where we started at 1, and then price fell. Like if we go back to the 1 hour, you can see for the entire hour, it didn't do very much. Traded up, and then when it closed, it was right back very near to where it started. And then from there, just fell off. And we still haven't recovered. So I'm still trading like it's gonna look for lower prices. Let's go back and turn on the indicator to draw the fair value gap so I don't have to do it anymore. All right, brother Free. Take care. Good to have you in the channel, and congrats on that win. Yeah, you have a good holiday. Okay, we've returned back down to those lows. So that low that was created 10 minutes ago, back down at the 50% mark of that new day opening gap. So let's see now if price wants 50% of that wick on the 15-minute, down at 946 3/4. Okay, it definitely wanted that level. Let's see if it wants more than that. We have a fair value gap just below it, down at 942-ish. And then after that, we see the bottom of the wick, which would be that swing low and the low from the, low from the New York session this morning, right when news was announced, down at 930. Oh, all right. I was looking at a different screen and look at what happened. Completely swept that low from this morning. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think that was in play when I was looking at price action late morning heading into lunch. All right, 220. 220 is the time. We just saw a big impulse candle down to the low of 830. And then we've seen a pretty sizable rejection away from the level. Let's see what the next candle brings, whether we'll go and fill in that gap, trade down at least half of the wick, or if we'll just continue looking for lower prices. If you could do me a huge favor, and everyone in the channel now, go and hit the like button so YouTube can promote us to other traders looking for live sessions. That'd be a big help for promoting the channel and helping me out. Okay, we're now at the 50% mark of the new day opening gap, just on the other side. Let's see if price can push through and close above. I know it's a little hard to see with all the fair value gaps. Let me drop this for a second. Okay. You're right. Was that one tick? It might have been one tick. Yeah, you're right. One tick below, just barely. And then immediately ran for, 20 points. Okay, so it did close below the new day opening gap. Now we're into the next candle. Let's see where it wants to push up to, whether it can push all the way through or whether it closes below. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I appreciate the likes. From London, 16,916. Okay. London session. Wow. Which time frame are you looking at? Mathematical. What's the time frame? I see a breaker here. All right, let's stretch this across. Where we land. Okay. Said 916. This is 917, so close enough. Okay, price is not done with lower prices. Let me drop down to the 30 seconds, see if there were any scalps we missed. Nope, no swing highs taken. So there's nothing we could have got in on. Nope. Okay. Let's go down as far as the 15 seconds, see if maybe we missed one there. Yeah, we did. Probably been right around this range. And this was broken, and then we had a trade down. Let's see. Trade back up. Boom, hit 30% barely, and then trade it out. All right, that's probably the only trade we missed coming down. And that would have happened right after the last time it hit this fair value gap and then traded out. I'm sorry, not the new day opening gap, and then traded higher. But for the most part, we didn't miss anything. It's just price just moves swiftly. So if you were already in on the short and you were believing that price was going to print lower candles, then you made the trade. Otherwise, you get to sit on the sideline and have FOMO. All right, mathematical genius. This was the breaker you called out. We had a trade down to 50%, a rejection out. Now we just had another candle get almost there, and now it also traded out. So let's look and see if we get some bullish candles following. But you're right, we're also in the same range. The midnight open is at 913, so it's right here. Just a point above the midpoint of this breaker. You know what, let me breaker 5 minute. Inside to the right. New downside target 815. Okay. Oh man. London low 16,898. All right. Yep. And then we have the ultimate low of today's calendar day at 891. Okay, about 2 minutes before the half hour. Okay, you're talking here, the low of today, which is at 891. Let's see what else is here from yesterday. Okay. So we'll see if that's where price ultimately wants to go. Let me shorten this a bit. There we go. We're still watching the 5 minute, and we're looking to see if price wants to return to this fair value gap, which has held price up all day. It's where the low of today's calendar day after midnight reached. Alrighty, let's pop over to the dollar and see how it's behaving this hour. So 2 o'clock started around here. So we've just been putting in higher prices ever since. The high of the day's already been met. Yep. Oh no, take that back. The London session, 101.895. Equal highs. Go up to the 15. All right, so it looks like dollar is pushing up, continue to make higher prices. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't reach the high of the day. And because of that, then we'll probably make sure that we have our bias on the commodities, looking for lows of the day. Unless we see some change in the dollar and we see it start to look for lower prices, then we'll look for lower prices on commodities. Okay, let's pop over to ES. ES has already made its low of the day. So the ES low of the day was here at 1 o'clock. We saw it just push through in the last 5 minutes or last 15 minutes. Now it's seeking higher prices, but it could just be to fill in this gap, not necessarily making a run up to the top. All right. So ES we know has taken out its low of the day and just created that. Let's look and see if NASDAQ wants to do the same. Okay, not quite. Not quite. The low for NASDAQ is at 892. So far, the low has been registered at 896. So not far away, but we did see a rejection out of this area. And now we see price trading above the breaker. And drop down to 5 minutes. Alrighty. Yeah, Card. I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna figure out a way to turn my voice into stereo. Okay, so SMT on the Dow. Okay, that's the one we skipped. So let's now go and check out the Dow. Get back up to the 15-minute level. Yep, so the Dow 8:30 opens has not been traded to yet. That also is the low of the day, unlike the other two indices where the low of the day was actually more like 1 in the morning as opposed to 8:30. Okay, so the Dow is below the new day opening gap and below the new week opening gap, unlike NASDAQ and even the S&P. All right, let's see, where was the 50% mark on the wick? You're right at 37,618. So this candle didn't quite get there, but the next one did. It's 70% retracement into the wick. Let me delete this now. All right. Just while we're here, let's just look at the dollar one more time. Okay, we've had a trade above the last high. Still not a closure above that high, but we have traded above it. Pushed away from the zone, but still in the area. Okay, so in the moment, we're still bullish for the dollar. So we're going to still be bearish on the other commodities. Switch over. All right, back to NASDAQ. See, it's continuing to trade above that breaker that I marked up. You think we'll get a reaction from here? Maybe at the new day opening gap is where it'll trade to, and then we'll see if it pushes through or rejects. Another 20 points or so. So anyone who took a rejection off the breaker, already up close to 20 points with another 15 or so to go before the new day opening gap. Yep. Do we have anyone long? Long on NASDAQ or S&P? Mathematical genius, did you take an entry off of the breaker? All right, Chuck is in there. Chuck is in there. I should consider getting in. 934. Okay. Let's go down a couple time frames and see if there's a position or somewhere to get in at. Oops. revised breaker here. Mm. How nice. I wonder if this breaker here produced an entry at this level. I know it's a little messy here, but we had price break below these two candles. We had it break below and then immediately follow. We had it break above, creating the breaker. So when this candle right here broke, oh, let's get rid of this. So first we had a high right here, which was broken by this candle. And then immediately following, price traded down into this fair value gap and then traded right out. Right. Matter of fact, let me delete this breaker so we can see it easier. Okay, so the purple would be the new breaker. There was a fair value gap created, which right here. So when price made a new high, it traded back into the fair value gap, and then it took off. Oh, okay, no trading. All right, got it. Good job, Chuck. You at least ran up to these highs right here. 961, you said you got in at 34, so that's at least 25 points. I'm going to cancel my limit order since it ran away from me. I was a little slow to get in that one. But yeah, I'm not as good as at noticing these breakers, but starting to like them more and more the more I see them. You find a breaker with a fair value gap in it, and that's the one to take. Don't worry, Tyler. There's always another trade. There's always another one. Don't worry. DJ, I'm telling you, I swear everyone says they're losing trades and then they come in and they hang out with us for a little bit. And before I know it, they're all reporting back that not only did they recover what they lost, but they're up. So if some of y'all want to pass on those winnings over to me, I'd appreciate it. But no, all things being serious, good job. I'm proud of you. I'm happy that you were able to recover during our session. All right, we're trading above the new day opening gap now. Let's remove some of this lipstick so we can see what we're looking at. But yeah, let's all remember that today, not only is today Friday, but it's the day before a big banking holiday for the entire globe. So I don't think I've ever traded the Friday before Christmas, but let's just keep that in mind. Oh, okay. Well, that's hey, whatever works, Tyler. I'm glad that it's helping you. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did see that SMT on the Dow, which gave everybody confidence that we might be running up. Mm-mm-mm. What a trade. But let's also pay attention to the time, right? It's 2:30. So and a lot of times in the middle of the hour, for I don't know why, but for whatever reason, that's when you'll get price wanting to turn around, whether it's 1:30 or 2:30. Just generally, if price is moving in the opposite direction that you think it should, just wait till half of the hour and see if things change. Wow, 1900. Excellent. All right, well, let's see where can price end up then. Yeah, if you enter down very close to the origin of this move, yeah, you could end up having a 100-point move pretty quickly. I mean, I'm not saying you will, but you very well could. Okay, 250 to 310 macro time. Yep, it's coming up. Macro likes to run for liquidity, so let's see where it goes. We just took out these equal highs right here. Up next, as far as easy liquidity, it's going to be these fair value gaps. Well, I guess there's a couple more mixed in here. Let me mark those up. Keep in mind, this is the 1-minute chart. And one just below, right here. Let's also see if we can take the most recent one that was overtaken. Let's see if we can invert this and flip it and turn it into a green one. So if we can't find support, okay. All right, congratulations. You secured the win. Now it's just seeing if you got a runner in place. Gonna run and grab a glass of water real quick. I'll be right back. Give me about a minute. Hey, I'm back, and I see DJ is still running. Okay, let's stretch these out just so we know when we blast through them. Glad we found support on this one. All right, let's get this one marked up as potential support going forward. Which position to take profit? Well, just right now we're bullish. We're moving higher. Where do I think we're ultimately going to go? It's anyone's guess, but I would say easy target would probably be his afternoon session highs. We have basically equal highs right here. In that case, let me go and switch down to the 30 and see if we can find some scalps on the way up. Maybe we can get one here. But only only if price retraces back down into the zone will we look for that entry. Otherwise, if it keeps pushing higher, we'll just look for something else. Hmm. Oh, we're at the VWAP now. Okay. See if price can hold steady. We got about 2.5 minutes before we get to 3 o'clock. Yeah, it looks like price is not interested in showing itself until the next hour, so we'll give it a couple minutes. On the 8 hour, holy cow. Um, Looked at the 4 hour before, but never the 8 hour. Let's see. But for kicks, I'll do it. Let's see what happens. Where is? Oh, it's down here. So hours 8. All right, let's cover up all the drawings. Then we'll take a peek at the 8 hour. Yeah, we still got 2 hours left to close out today. So we'll see where this closes. But man, it's not a good wick. But we had a long one down here as well, and it remained intact, and price kind of built off of it. Retrace some more, and now it's building off of it. Still hasn't made a new high though, so we could get a crash down and trade into this next week. But yeah, this is a sizable wick. This one was as well. So we'll see how things fare. But while we're already here, let's just peek at the 4 hour. Fair value gap didn't hold, but price did push out of it. So we'll see how it closes by the end of today. But yeah, this fair value gap could, it may actually hold. Right now, it looks like it didn't just because of the big wick that went through. But price did reject. So we'll see where it closes. We got a trend line here, which is not favorable. We don't love that. In fact, let's go back. Okay, cool. Yep, but this is our next level here. We want to see if price can get above here, our daily high at 17,043. Oh, these higher time frames. Pulling up all of my drawings so it looks ugly. All right, let's get back down to the 5-minute. So if the 8 hour closes bullish. Okay, yep, you're right. Price is probably going to run. Absolutely. Bring our drawings back. Down to the 1 minute again. Okay, so we saw a rejection out of this one. Actually, we can delete this one since it did close above. And now we'll just watch price play in between these two areas and wait until it settles. All right, we're heading into the last hour. I want to take this time to thank everyone who's been with me for the last 3 weeks, whether it's one day, one session, or you've been here all 3 weeks, both sessions every day. Either way, your support has been tremendous. I could not have done this without you. I checked earlier. We're right at 200 subscribers now. I started 3 weeks ago. I had 27, 28, something like that. You guys have been great as far as supporting my channel and supporting me as a trader, being good and cordial in the room, asking good questions, providing support to other members of the group. So I just want to thank you for being here and thank you for supporting me. This is something I've always wanted to do. I wasn't sure how I would like it or how I would do. I'm trying to get better every day. I told myself 1% better every day. In 90 days, we'll be looking at something at a pretty good product. So I'm going to continue that. But thank you for supporting me. This has been tremendous so far. It's been amazing. And I took a peek earlier and I saw we had 50 people in the room at one time, which is would have been unthinkable 2 weeks ago. Okay, you looking for another short? Yeah, I think I missed one. Oh no, I didn't. I deleted it already. The one that was here. Once we traded above over this area. All right, let's see if we can now get a push through this zone, taking out this high that was made at 3 o'clock. Oh, this would have been such a nice entry. It's okay. Run off. Take out this high. NQ market internals. Okay, let's see. What is it? Do you have any specific questions, Joe? Let's peek at 15 minutes because of where we are. Yep. So on the 15-minute, let's just be aware of this area right here. I know down on the 1 minute, they had these little smaller ones that kind of built up, but on the 15 minute, it's one large area. In fact, let's. All right, let's see that we had a rejection right here at the 50% level. We got 6 more minutes before closure. We're going to want to see price remain inside. Either remain inside or we want to see it push through and close above. If you're short, it looks like you may have a good entry already. And if you're short, you're going to want to see it push out and close below, and then dig back into this new day opening gap. All right, another 5 minutes, and then we'll have the afternoon macros. So 3:15 to 3:45. A lot of times you see a push down to the midnight open. But in our case, just about 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago, we did see a push down to the midnight open, which was at 16,913. So right here. So that's already been covered. So price is more than likely just going to continue trending the way it's going. So this fair value gap area is going to be really important, whether we break through and continue upwards or we reject out and just continue pushing south. But as of right now, there's no need to push south since it already did that 45 minutes ago. So let's go back down to a lower time frame. We do have the 15-minute down in the lower left-hand corner for all that's interested. Okay. This candle's looking strong so far, but it's only been a minute and a half into a 5-minute candle. So let's give it more time. All right, let's see if we can get a break of this trend line that it seems to want to create. We want to see that break. Just stretch it out a bit. Okay. Okay. About another minute before this candle closes. Let's see if we can continue pushing upwards. Maybe take out the high of the previous candle or even that swing high of 2 candles ago. Okay. You know what? Let's make it easier on ourselves. Let's just copy this one since it already has text. All right. Do we have anyone actively in a trade right now? Okay, Lishi is in short. Okay. Chuck is in long. Yeah, that's true. You're right. If we don't get going, there will be a rejection because the 15-minute already kind of stopped around that midpoint. Rejected out, traded back into, but it's not really making a lot of progress. We've also crossed over the 315 mark, so that macro has begun. It's just not doing anything on this candle yet. So let's just give it some time to see what it does. You drop down to the 1 minute, see if there's. Oh wow. Okay, so we've been stuck here pretty much for 30 minutes. Good news is that a consolidation area when it was on its move down, an area where it consolidated and then continued. Now we've on the way up, taken over that area, and now we're trading above it, retesting it and trading out, retesting and trading out. So that's positive. I know it's not enough to jump into a trade, but right now we just had a liquidity sweep from here. I see. Good call, DJ. Yep, I'm looking at the daily candle and the wick above and the wick below. Everything looks about even. So you're right. We're in the 50% of the entire range. So price could go either direction, and that's not really a comforting feeling. All right, so we had a sweep of a low within this range and a rejection back up into the range. Let's see now if we have another test of the upper edge of the range and if we can push out of it. Maybe we'll have what happened the other day where right around 3:30 is when we had a break out of the consolidation zone and it actually did something. So maybe price is waiting for that, or it just could be where it's just gonna drag its feet until the end of the day. You're holding a short, okay? Well, you did get a rejection out of this area when it traded up last time. It rejected out and started looking for lower prices, and now it's just been hovering in this area. Um, like I say, it's at the 50% mark, so it can go either way. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Yep. Almost got a full retracement from the day. In fact, if we look at this range, so the 130 down to 230, we've now made a 70% retracement, 71% retracement already. And afterwards, lower prices have been sought so far. So just want to point that out to anyone, just because we haven't focused on the higher time frame as much. But that's where we are, 71%. If we take the full range from the high of the day, we're just above, well, we did trade just above the 60% range. So, all right, let's take a quick peek at the dollar and see where it's at. Remember, this is the 15 minutes. So we took highs here, started retracing, retraced past and through that fair value gap, the bullish one, traded below and closed. Now we're pushing back up, but in trading through the bullish fair value gap, it created bearish ones. So we have one here. Then we essentially have this one. So really, you could combine them if you wanted, since there's a small gap in between. So that's what I'll do. I'll combine these two and make it into one. So that's what's going on with the dollar. It's right at that midpoint now. We'll see if it wants to trade through, but it does have the new day opening gap as well that could hold price down. So maybe we won't get a lot from the dollar for the rest of the day. If anything, maybe it'll trade lower. Yeah. But so far today, I've haven't been spot on my my predictions of price. So Take that as you will. But hopefully if that pushes the dollar lower, we'll see higher prices here on commodities. Right, and we see the opposite here. We saw a bearish fair value gap here, which price then is being stuck at the 50% mark. But then part of this recovery has created a bullish one that will hopefully hold price where it is. So we got a little tug of war going on, and we'll see which one of those wins. Right now it's 3:25, so let's give it another 5 minutes, wait till 3:30, and see if that's when price wants to make a move and decide which direction. Oh, 3:50 to 4 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what this like sort of mid-hour micro does. Well, not micro, macro, mid-hour macro. If nothing happens here, then yeah, we'll look for that last 10 minutes to see what happens. I have seen the last 10 minutes of the 3 o'clock hour just absolutely run, when prior to that, price was pretty stagnant for an hour or two. I will say rarely have I been a part of those kind of movements when it gets close to the end of the hour. I'm not saying I've never traded that last 10 minutes, but I try not to be in a trade, or not try not to enter a trade during that time. If I'm already in, then I'm looking to exit and just trying to get to TP. But outside of that, I usually don't enter a trade in the last 10 minutes. Yep, could be huge. I mean, I've seen 50, 100-point moves in 10 minutes. All right, 2.5 minutes left. Let's see where this candle finishes. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for staying with me through all this chop. I know it's been slow moving a lot today, but I appreciate you staying with me and listening to me rant about the charts. Alberto, yes, mostly I trade NQ. I will trade the ES, but once I get the math in my head about contract size and how quickly the price is going to move, and then how large a price leg is expected to be, and once I dial in those numbers, it's hard for me to just bounce around from different commodities. So I try to stick to one thing. But I traded ES um, almost exclusively up until June of this year. This has only been the last 5 or 6 months that I've been on NASDAQ. Prior to that, it was ES almost exclusively. And that was, so probably, let's say, June of this year until probably 18 months before that, it was just the ES. Um, and then in 2021, I was trading the Dow mostly. Better to trade on US 100 cash. No, I don't want to trade any CFDs. I don't want to move around from broker to broker. I once I found out that futures is the same price for everyone, no matter where you are in the world, that I was sold. Because then I know there's still manipulation on every broker, but at least I know everyone's getting the same fair shake. When you go into CFDs, then it's up to each individual broker. Within they have certain parameters they can move around, and that's why you see different prices on different brokers for the exact same chart. So I'm gonna stick with futures, but futures aren't available to everyone. So those who don't have futures available to them do have to trade with CFDs. And then others who like to trade, if you're into Forex. So if you want to trade Forex with the same broker, that broker will usually provide CFDs for you. I found the ES easier. Honestly, it moves a little slower. But I find the NASDAQ to be kind of that happy medium. I started doing the Dow, and the Dow moves a lot faster, but it's not always as uniform as you would like. ES was a lot better, but it moves slower. But I find NASDAQ to be that happy medium for me. All right, we did get a closure of the last candle, the last 15. It closed just above the midway point of this fair value gap, but still not a strong movement towards any of the highs. Um, so let's drop down to the 5 minute and see if we get anything better there. Okay, so we're getting close to the high from about a half hour ago. The last 3 or 4 candles have made higher lows, which is encouraging. But we are running out of time. We are at 3:30. Okay, let me just map out this high so we know when it's been swept, since that's the closest target we're looking for, or the closest target I'm looking for is at least. Okay, let's pay attention to this candle and see where the low is. And then after it puts in a low, let's see what type of response it gives. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you look at the candles here, you can see the candle body closing at 50%, opening at 50% here, trading out, but staying in and closing below. So yeah, that's definitely not what we were looking for. Yep. Yeah, DJ, you're right. It's definitely going to look for another pool of liquidity. So anyone who was long this entire leg up, anyone long since 230, started originally with their stop loss somewhere down in this region, then they placed it here, and they've probably been sliding it. So yeah, you're right. At some point, price may want to run down, snatch some of that, and then the last 5 minutes when no one's paying attention, then make a run up to the daily high or somewhere close. It's okay. We'll be patient. There's only 25 minutes left, so it either gives it to us or it holds position, and then we'll look for something else tomorrow. Well, sorry. Tomorrow's the weekend. We'll look for something else on Tuesday morning. Right, another 2 minutes before this candle closes. liquidity lies right below here. So we want to see when price breaks below 968, we want to see how does it react. There's a 5-minute fair value gap right here, and another one just below inside of the new day opening gap. No, at the moment I do not have Discord or Telegram. I do not. I thought about starting a Discord. It just depends on how things develop and whether I find that the community needs it or wants it. But I'm not opposed to it. But so far I haven't started a Discord. Okay, we did get that liquidity sweep. Again, we want to watch and see how does price develop afterwards. How will it close? Is it going to close in this fair value gap? Are we going to break even further? Is it going to close inside of this one, or will it close above? And we still got 4 minutes, so we have most of the candles still left to be developed. And right now, time is 3:40. All right, we're halfway through the candle. Any predictions? Luis? Yep, got 2 or 3 minutes left on this macro, so this will be the last 5-minute candle. Watching on 30-second. Let's see if that gives us anything different. Okay. Well, definitely looks quite bearish on the, the 30-second. Oh, you want to see the 30s get swept up again? Okay. Sell side to 946. Right. All right, let's go back to the 5-minute for the last minute of that candle. Let's see where we close up, and then the last 15 minutes. Where does it want to run to? Okay, wants to close above. That doesn't mean there's no fair value gap, because there is. Let's see if it can break through. So will 992 be its objective and stop there? Mm-mm-mm. I don't know. Looks like it's still a bit indecisive, but if I was a betting man, I would go long here, but I'm going to stay out. Yeah, you're right. Watch it in another 7 minutes at 3:55. Then it's going to sprint. Leave everybody sour going heading into Christmas. All right, last minute of this candle looks to be moving in the opposite direction. Yeah, and trading majority of the time you're just sitting on your hands. That's that's majority of what you get to do. And then for a few minutes each day you get to trade. That's why it's been such a great time to sit here and talk to you all, because most of the time you're just waiting. So it's good to talk, have something to say, enjoy reading the chat. It would be nice for NQ to deliver some type of gift to us. That would be awesome. The only problem is we're all on opposite sides. Well, there's two different sides and everyone's on a different one. So we could, half of us are going to go home happy and the other half are going to feel like we got a lump of coal in our stocking. Oh, ES. All right, let's take a peek at that. Okay. It's done 4 or 5 points in 30 seconds, which is not bad for ES. About a 250 point move, $250 move. All right, let's see. Does it want the high from the last candle? Yep, and it does. Sweet. NQ, did you do it too? Yes, it did. All right, so we got a nice little reaction out of this 5-minute fair value gap. We got candle bodies closing above the 50%, all 3 candles. We have a nice push out on the current one in the first minute and 20 seconds. So we got another 3.5 minutes to go on this candle. Remember earlier we were looking at this as the closest target, but ultimately we're looking for this afternoon's high. So this session, the high was put in at around 130. So we're looking for that level. Do we have the dollar pushing down? Yes, we do. Sweet. All right, back to ES. Oh, I'm sorry, back to NASDAQ. We don't want to see this level hold. We want to see it just push right through like it's not there. That's true. You can make a living off that last 10 minutes. It's similar to making a living off of the opening bell. If you can master what's going on with the opening bell and where maybe a liquidity area that it wants to sweep is, you can make a lot of money in just 5 or 10 minutes of trading. But you're right, it's so hard because of how quick it is. The 3 o'clock hour, what I notice a lot is it makes a lot of deep retracements, sweeping liquidity. So it'll show its position. You'll know exactly where it's going and you'll try to enter, but then it'll come back and take your stop loss prior to going to its final position, unless you were in pretty early, like 2:30 or before 3 o'clock. If you try to enter at 3:30, trying to catch the move, but get in the middle, I haven't had a lot of success with that. All right, price is about 10 seconds left. Let's see what it's going to do. Then we got one candle left for the rest of the hour. Here we go. Okay. Thought there was going to be more energy. Guess not. All right. Looks like we have maintained most of our members. So a lot of you have stuck with me throughout this last hour of back and forth 25-point movements, up and down, up and down. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Just trying to get through the breaker. Oh, I see. Okay. Um, but yeah, for everyone who's in the room now, if you could hit that like before you leave out and get your weekend started, that would help me out tremendously. I'm going to be live streaming next week, Tuesday through Friday. If you want to join those sessions, please make sure you subscribe so you get that invitation. And yeah, like I've been saying all day, man, it's been a great experience for me to host these live streams for you every day. So I want to continue that, and I want to see you all back next week, hopefully on Tuesday. But I understand that next week's going to be family time. Not to mention rest and recovery from a full year of working and everything else that life has thrown at you. So if you need to take that break and you're not trading next week, I completely understand. But I will be here from Tuesday to Friday, and I'll be returning the following Tuesday as well. So January 2nd, I'll be back for anyone who takes next week off. And again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing and liking the video. I really do appreciate it. So we got about 3 minutes left on this candle. It doesn't look like it's going to make a big mark on the market. We have seen sometimes after 4 o'clock, between 4 o'clock and 4:15, that price just makes an unbelievable run. I'm not sure we'll get that today. We do have a holiday coming on Monday. So there's probably very little volume in the market right now. But yeah, we'll close this one out. We'll watch and see how it finishes. And then we'll move on to our weekend and the holiday festivities and all that good stuff for everyone celebrating. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. And for those not celebrating, not part of the religion that does, hope you have a good weekend and happy trading next week. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Peek at the 1 minute. Okay. We got wicks below, which is great. Showing a rejection to continue moving lower, but we're running out of time. All right, 4 o'clock. Will we get that impulse we were looking for? Oh, okay. We're out of the breaker now. Got it. Okay. We're going to hang on for another couple minutes or so. I was a couple minutes late, so not a problem. I owe you a few minutes anyway. But I think we just might get something these first couple minutes of this hour. All right, exactly 5 points away from sweeping this high. It's where we are now. Let's see if price wants to finish that. See if we can get this candle to continue to push for higher prices until it eclipses that high. But if we make it all the way to 5 minutes after the hour and we don't have any more progress, I can't imagine the price running away at 415. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. Thank you for the love shown. All right, starting to lose momentum, it looks like. All right. Well, it was a good effort. It was a good effort, and I wanted to wait for a few minutes just to see if anything happened or if it was able to run up to those highs I was looking for. But for now, I'm just gonna close the feed and thank you once again for being here and trading with me today. But I think the market is getting ready to close for the holidays, and we should all do the same. Should get out and start enjoying our weekend and close out whatever else we have to do. Have a good time with our families, recharge the batteries a bit, and let's get back to it next week. All right, everyone. Till next week. Happy trading. I'll see you later. Hopefully, you spend this downtime either recharging the batteries or back testing anything you heard during the live feed today from me or the other traders, or just back testing your own strategy. But yeah, this room is for us to become better traders together. Thank you all. See you next week.